Welcome back to Star News TV. I'm Mark Childrey. Glad to have you here, and we're glad to hear from Eden Mayor Neville Hall. We've been catching up with him every few weeks. COVID-19 has kind of shut things down, not only across our nation, but here locally as well. We're not doing any in-studio interviews for the time being, but we do like to catch up with the mayor and find out what's going on, and he's here with us today to talk about some things. And Mayor, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. It's always good to talk with you.
So Mark, thank you for having me. It's good to be on.
Let's talk about, before we go any further, and I know we've got some things we're going to talk about, like the end of school and some of the restaurants being open, and I know that you wanted to talk about some community events that's coming up. But one thing I wanted to talk about is, of course, we've seen the news every day. We turn the news on every day. We're seeing protests all over the nation over the death of George Floyd, who died in police custody, and 4 police officers lost their job. One of those police officers has been charged with murder, and a lot of people are calling for peace. There's been protests. We know that a lot of those have turned ugly, and we've even had them even here in our local community. Reidsville had protest on Monday, and it was peaceful. Everything was fine there until the very end, when apparently maybe something, we don't know that it's even related to the protest. The police department's looking into this. But let's talk about it in Eden for just a moment. Has there been anything going on there? And talk about that for just a moment, your thoughts on it.
Well, first of all, just, everybody's thoughts and prayers go out for George Floyd's family and what they're having to deal with, that tragic loss. Senseless, but it's really been a hard pill for the community to swallow, and that's all races of people have just been disgusted by what happened. So it's uncomfortable for everybody, and we haven't actually had any organized protests or events in the city of Eden yet. We were made aware that there was some potential night before last and again last night, but as of today, I spoke with the police chief. None had materialized, especially into anything that caused any problems. And it's understandable that people are upset and they want to get together and be with each other and possibly protest. But we just ask that if you do, you just keep it in a peaceful, calm situation and don't take it out on other people's property or other people's personal safety. Just do what you're there to do and remain peaceful, and hopefully everybody's opinions will be heard.
I think one of the protesters yesterday that I spoke with yesterday here in Reidsville said that they were there to be heard, but they were not there. He was not there to catch a charge. He said he wasn't going to get into any trouble, and if anyone was planning to bring trouble there, don't do it, because he wasn't going to be a part of it, and that they were going to break it up if things happened. And for a long time, things were fine there. But we've seen places, even nearby Greensboro, where things have turned ugly. For the most part, during the daytime, the protests were peaceful, and then sometimes at night, things took a turn for the worse. So again, if you do have protests in Eden, your advice would be just keep it calm. Just be calm.
I realize there have been some gatherings throughout our county, and I know that our citizens from Eden have gone to other places in the county and participated, and I'm glad to hear that there have been no incidents of violence at any of those. So that's a good thing, and it's not going to help your cause to go to jail, I don't think. So I'm glad to hear that the people are using better judgment here as opposed to some of the places we've been watching each night on TV.
Yeah, exactly. So again, be safe out there. If you're going to protest, be safe and don't get yourselves into trouble. Let's move ahead and talk about other things. The end of the school year is here, and Moorhead High School, like the other high schools in Rockingham County, had to kind of readjust and hold graduation ceremonies in a totally different way. But the graduates of 2020 for Moorhead High School, they're now holding their diplomas, and they're basically out of there, I guess you may say. At least that's what the card said on the graduation card that I gave to my nephew. He graduated from Rockingham. So let's talk about that. I know you got a message for those seniors.
Yeah, well, obviously 2020 has been an incredibly strange year, and the seniors in this class, you just got to feel for them for the things that they missed in their senior year. But I will say that this past Saturday, the school administration, the county school system, as well as the Moorhead High School administration and staff, did a tremendous service for the seniors. They had a parade throughout the morning on Saturday where the students rode through and got out and had the picture made, and the valedictorian spoke, and student body president, I think, spoke. It was very successful from everybody that I've talked to, the parents and the students. I think that was a great way to do this and continue the social distance. So I think that the people are really excited about that. But beyond that, the city of Eden has an advantage that a lot of people don't, and that is we have a drive-in theater in town, and that's going to come into play on June 11th. They're actually going to do a graduation service at the drive-in theater for these graduates, these 2020 seniors, and they're going to use the big screen to do the senior slideshow, I understand, as well as some of the speeches and things will be played, and that's just a great community partnership to be able to pull that off and at least give them that sense of normalcy with the graduation, that they're all together as opposed to driving through in a circle. So I'm excited about that and look forward to seeing how that turns out. But again, the people I talked to said this past Saturday was so nice that you'd almost want to do it every year in addition to graduation service. But it was, they enjoyed that, and I saw cars all over town with balloons and stickers and poster boards about their graduates. So, I mean, they're proud of them. I'm proud of them, and it's an accomplishment, especially in the environment that they were in, trying to finish their senior year and not have spring sports or prom or any of those things. So I'm glad they're getting some of the benefit of a fun graduation.
You know, I want to speak. I want to just. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to say that my nephew, as I mentioned just a moment ago, he's graduated from Rockingham County High School. The young man who's done some yard work for me lives in Eden, and he's actually graduating from Moorhead High School. And one thing about it, they both, and I've talked to both of them about this whole situation, about how COVID-19 has changed the way they go to school, how things have changed, how this has changed the way that they're graduating from school. And believe it or not, both of them have fantastic attitudes about the whole thing. Me personally, I think I probably took it a little more, maybe I was a little more negative about it than they were, but they seem to be really good with it.
Yeah, I think they are. The graduation, the end of it is, the finality of the graduation is probably even easier to handle than the fact that they missed the things during their senior year that most of us remember for the rest of their lives.
Sure. Well, I hats off to all of the graduates, including those at Moorhead High School.
Before we leave that subject, I do need to say, and this is because both of my sons are in Rockingham County school system, the teachers and administrators, they went above and beyond to keep some sense of normalcy with the online learning and staying in contact. They tried, Zooming and then phone calls. And I know the elementary school teachers were going in and running off paper copies of work to leave there for the parents to come through and pick up. It was just a very united and a strong effort by all the students, teachers, administrators, and the whole school system. So they're to be commended for fighting through something that we had no control over, and at least giving them some sense of normalcy with the day-to-day stuff.
So tip of the hat to them, and congratulations to all of the graduates of 2020 at all of our schools in our viewing area. Great job, and great job on adapting to a lot of change in a very short amount of time. I know that you wanted to mention restaurants are back open. We're in phase 2 of Governor Cooper's orders, so that's been given the green light to restaurants to be able to change the way that they operate. I know you wanted to speak on that for just a moment.
Yeah, I did just want to say that, that most of these restaurants that are opening, they're opening up slowly. They got limited capacity, and I think a lot of people, myself and my family included, are excited about being able to go in and sit down at a restaurant. It is a new norm. There are, separations between the tables. This one place I went particularly, they have all the condiments and salt and pepper on a different area, and they have to wipe it down and bring it to you. So all these things, and the mask being worn by the employees, are everything that the governor had suggested and the CDC suggested to move forward with the opening and getting back to full strength for the restaurants. But I'll just ask people, first of all, to patronize them. They are operating with half of their seating capacity, and they need to at least have that full all the time so they can afford to stay open and provide us with options in town. And then secondly, just be patient with them and do what they're asking you to do as far as social distancing, so we can move to the next phase.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. I know a lot of people are tired of takeout, even though it's fantastic that restaurants have been able to do this, either takeout or drive-through. And I know that a lot of people really do enjoy sitting down in a different place than your house or your office and be in a different atmosphere and enjoy your meal. So I know that a lot of these restaurants are glad to sort of get back into another routine, and we'll hopefully be able to keep everyone safe and start moving into maybe phase 3 here before you know it. I know that there's some community events going on, and I know you wanted to mention that. We've got about 3 minutes, so I'm going to give you this time to talk about some of the upcoming events that's going on there in Eden.
I'll give you a real quick good news, bad news situation. With the good news is the Shagging on Fieldcrest for the end of July is still right now on schedule. That one's fairly simple to organize. It's one band and a few vendors, so we haven't had to make a decision on that one yet. We're getting very close on Riverfest to having to make a decision. That one requires months and months of planning, and the vendors and the food vendors and the carnival rides and things, they need to know months ahead. So if we can, it has not been canceled. We're just getting to the point where we're very soon going to have to make some commitments for the people who are going to be participating in Riverfest. So keep your fingers crossed that we can keep that one on for September, but it is getting crunch time for the planning on that. So hopefully we can get into the next phase and have time still to plan that event, because we really do enjoy having that signature event. And then lastly, I just want to mention there's a group who will be holding a Unity and Peace and Prayer ceremony. It's on June the 4th on 6 o'clock. Today's the 2nd, so it is on Thursday at 6 o'clock at City Hall there at Grogan Park. They're going to peacefully get together and pray for our world and our community. And my understanding is after they leave Eden, they're going to go to the other police stations throughout the county, as well as the sheriff's office, and just have a moment or two to try to pray for the community. And it'll obviously, hopefully it will be a very peaceful situation. We're expecting no less. It's a group that we've done things with before at the city, so we're sure they're going to be doing it the right way. But if you got a chance, you want to come by City Hall at 6 o'clock on the 4th, you can join into that. And they will be doing that in groups of 25 just to maintain the governor's order for social distancing and outdoor groups. So they're going to be considerate of that, and hopefully we'll have good attendance for that as well.
All right, and that's this coming Thursday there in Eden, North Carolina at Eden City Hall, which is located on Stadium Drive. So, Mayor, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm glad that you were able to be with us to catch up on what's going on in the land of Two Rivers, and I want to catch up with you soon. I'll even be more glad when we're able to finally break away from some of the social distancing, get you back into the studio, and hopefully with a lot of really great news about things beginning to happen in Eden again. And again, we're all having to adjust to the new normal, but it's always a pleasure to have you on the phone or in the studio, no matter where you happen to be. Thanks for being here, and good luck to you. Stay safe.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me, and everybody stay safe.
All right, Eden Mayor Neville Hall with us on the phone, and we appreciate him taking his time. We'll be back. We've got lots more coming up on Star News right after these messages.